This is the Gobfather. In this world, goblins aren't around for a long time, but they're sure as hell here for a fun one. You, however, are here for both, and you've got the entire goblin mafia at your back to help you. You are the boss of a goblin gang, and it's your dream to grow the biggest, richest mafia in the world. And obviously the only way to do that is to pull off heist after heist. When the game begins, the player launches into a series of fast-paced, quick-thinking encounters. Each event has 3 obstacles consisting of a required barrier and 2 optional choices that may give extra goods and buffs if cleared. Players have to use their array of hired goblins to quickly take down each wave or risk getting caught by the police, indicated by the timer in the bottom left. Every goblin is capable of damaging obstacles, but each goblin has its own set of randomly generated attributes and appearances, and matching attributes between goblins and obstacles will result in faster takedown times. You can even throw multiple goblins at a time on one obstacle to really blast through, or toss some at the cops to buy you some time. After clearing enough waves, the game shifts into heist phase, in which the player continues to play the game like normal, but with the added incentive of a large chunk of cash after a certain number of waves. The game ramps up in difficulty between transition and heist phases until time runs out and loses all collected gold, or the player hits the runaway button. This button activates the escape phase, removing the optional obstacles. Should the player clear the set number of main obstacles, the run ends and the gold won during the run is added to the grand total for the player's account. A lot of the game's features are focused on being procedurally generated to create a unique gameplay experience on every new run. From the optional obstacles to the goblins' appearances, most of the game is randomly pieced together from several databases. The heads and limbs of the goblins are all different pieces, assigned a color, stitched to each other, and animated in-game to make up the characters you send forth to do your bidding. Each goblin also comes with its own set of skills, also randomly decided upon acquisition. Some may even have modifiers which will enhance certain skills and attributes of the goblin. Goblins can have any skill assigned to them, but each obstacle has a set skill that will clear it faster, coupled with a flavor text explanation. Both goblin modifiers and obstacles are determined by respective comma-separated value files, and even have their own rarity values that alter how often they show up. The encounters are mainly based on spawning the obstacles and filling in the blanks for their attributes by retrieving them from the respective spreadsheet. When developing the Gobfather, we wanted to focus on making something simple and replayable. We thought the best way to do this was to go with a roguelike, but make it similar to an endless runner that could be played on either PC or mobile. There were several quality of life and polish ideas that didn't make the final cut, namely a hub room that would be visited outside of the main gameplay to show off your total collected gold and loot. Time constraints and obligation to our lives outside of the game proved to be our biggest challenge, mostly limiting our ability to add things like animation, music, and more art to the current build. As always with any project, not only were we reminded of the importance of time management, but working on the Gobfather specifically gave an insight into replayability, something we've rarely tackled in our game design careers. As it stands now, the Gobfather accomplishes its goal of being a simple, easy-to-pick-up roguelike players can run through in their free minutes of the day. While the gameplay is admittedly somewhat repetitive in its current state, no 2 runs are the same, and players can challenge themselves to see how long they can keep a run going for. If we were to change anything about the development process for the Gobfather, it would definitely be the amount of time dedicated to making the game pretty and polished, plus some added incentives like a visual gold stash and customizable hideout to keep players coming back. Regardless, the game's current build is something we can all be proud of. Thank you for watching.